I'm going to go through this and then at the end, I'll answer questions. How's that? I thought this would be a good topic while we were right on top of our last event. How to run your own wellness retreat, empowering you to host transformative experiences. Uh, you know, Amanda's sister talked me into doing our retreats in 2013 or 14. And it was so easy to do it with her because she had come from a corporate background where she had set up retreats, and she had our retreat running like clockwork. And so it was scary the first time, but it was pretty easy because she was emceeing it. She was running it, and all I needed to do was greet the people who were presenting, greet my customers who I was meeting for the first time in person, which was incredible. It was just the first time was just a totally different experience than anything that you can imagine. We had videographers there who gave everybody a chance to speak on video. And it was my first time on video, and she had me timed every minute that we weren't in the conference. I was recording question and answer series with the videographers so that we had tons and tons of advertising reel afterwards. And I was scared. I had never been on video like that before. I hammed it up for family stuff, but not business things. So I was scared, but by the time we were finished, I got over it. And it was a good experience for everybody. I had great speakers there. She had music. I didn't even know at the time it was Taylor Swift. She was doing Shake It Off, and she knew every single move to it. And we had the guy, Dr. Clements from Hippocrates. He was doing Taylor Swift too. It was a fun experience with a lot of our customers, and we got a ton out of it. I would recommend it to everybody. The second year that we had an event, we did it up big time by having, it was either the second or third year, by having Chris Carr and Gabby Bernstein. And then I picked some of the people that I liked, that I knew were doing well in the wellness arena, and I had them come in and speak. So we had like 3 days full of speakers, and we had the keynote speakers at night. And so we were going from like 7 o'clock in the morning, and some people went to the beach at 6 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And that was a great experience. It was incredibly expensive. I was forced to do a lot of advertising, and I learned everything that there is to know about advertising for these events that year because there was so much at stake. I was paying, one speaker cost $30,000 at that event. And so when you talk about all the speakers that we had some that volunteered because they wanted to be there. And I think I just paid for their lodging, and they paid to get there, and then didn't charge to speak, but then I had the expensive speakers. So I would recommend. I don't think that we got the value out of two expensive speakers. I would recommend that you just if you're going to spend money, spend it on one person, not two. We could have had Chris Carr one year and Gabby Bernstein the other year, and it would have been fine. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. What you're going to learn today when I'm talking to you, and I'm not going to take a ton of time, you're going to learn how to create and run wellness retreats that will leave your clients feeling revitalized and connected. That was one of the biggest things about ours, is how connected they felt to other people. A lot of that had to do with the good tension that was created, the team building parts that we had. And it also had to do with how much they were learning. And with your people, it's going to be less business and more wellness. And I think that you'll see a difference. Overview of key steps like planning, logistics, marketing, client experience, and then post-retreat actions. In the past, we've had post-retreat not quizzes, but information that we would get back from them. And we had every single bit of feedback that you could possibly hope for. So why run a wellness retreat? Purpose, connect with clients in a deeper and more impactful way. And that is true no matter how you do your conference, you're going to connect better with people. Benefits, create lasting transformation, expand brand visibility, and generate new revenue. I can tell you that I do not make money. I usually lose money running my retreats. I can tell you now, after years, how you can keep from losing money running the retreat. But what I would consider it is a loss leader, because almost always after a retreat, you have loyal customers for life. And that's where the revenue that you generate comes in. You can't even add up for 3 days what the value is of what you're spending on the retreat. Client connection wellness retreats allow for immersive experiences that build trust and loyalty that you can't build online. This picture here is a retreat that I went to with one of my customers. Actually, a lot of the people from USANA went there because the guy that owns this medical center owns USANA too. It's Santa Vive in Mexico. And it's an integrative medical and wellness retreat center that's on the cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I had the room probably right over where this blue awning is. This little deck right here, you'd see people out in the day, during the day getting chemo treatments, looking at the ocean. I can't think of a better way to get chemo treatments. And I was there for not a sales pitch, but for relaxation and wellness treatments. And so then we also had a retreat-like setting where we had meditation. So I experienced every kind of meditation that you could ever imagine. And I really enjoyed it. I had a room by myself that was huge. I had a rebounder that sat out on a balcony, and I was able to jump on my rebounder while I looked at the ocean and listened to music, or didn't listen to music. I woke up in the morning to Ave Maria that they were playing from someplace down there. And we each had our own little vitality swing that we were supposed to use before we went out. And then they had all kinds of treatments that were really nice there. I relaxed so much. I was worried about going because it was right after our event, which was always the first week in November. And it was before Christmas. It was like the 17th, I think. And how I remember that date, I don't know. But I worried about going because there's so many things to do before Christmas for me to get ready for it. And my customer, it was a good customer, and she wanted me to go. And I wanted to go. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to this? I relaxed so much at this that when I went to the airport in San Diego to go home, I had like this rush of anxiety from all the noise in the airport because I had relaxed so much at the event. They had, at the time I was just starting to eat a teeny bit of meat. I'd been vegan for like 2 years, and and that's what they fed you, was a lot of dull chicken, but it was healthy, and it tasted okay. I could eat it, but it was an incredible experience, and I don't think I had a lot of personal attention at that one. I don't think I would have wanted a lot of personal attention. I got to go do my own thing when I wanted to. Those pools down there, they have you jump from hot to ice cold. In there, they had saunas in the rooms back here. It was incredible. The whole thing was really nice. So when we talk today, we're going to talk about wellness retreats that will leave your clients feeling the way that I did at that one, feeling revitalized and connected. I felt, even though I hadn't spent a lot of time with people, one-on-one solid through the whole thing. I did see people and talk to people, but it was still kind of quiet and introspective. So I'm going to talk to you about how to do it. Get connected like we do at our events, and maybe feel relaxed like you do at Santa Vive. And I'm not saying you don't feel relaxed at ours. We put you to work at ours, though. Okay, so define your vision and your goals. So first of all, I'm going to ask you here, how many of you would like to do a retreat? Just type it into the chat box. Okay, let's pretend like you do maybe one day. I'm thinking about something in the spring. Oh, good, Amy. I think that would be great for you. Okay, so if you want to do it, ask yourself this: what unique experiences do you want your clients to have at that retreat? And then type that into the chat box. Francesca would like to attend one, but she's not sure about hosting one. You should come to ours. We've got that second level now. We've got two levels of Inner Circle now. One's the programs and one is the retreat. And I would suggest going into the retreat one because we had a great experience. I learned a lot from getting that huge house on the island this year. We won't get a house like that. I'm going to go look at it and make sure that they've got, if they say they've got 14 real rooms, that they really do. But I would love to do that again with maybe even a little bit smaller group. Ashley wants her people to feel seen, supported, and connected. That's a good one. You know, I didn't even realize how important that was until the first one that we had. And I mean, we had people at the tables building things with sticks and it was so much fun. Everybody had so much fun, and the people that met at those retreats are still friends now, and they still actually work together. Okay, so clarity on goals, set clear intentions for client outcomes and for your business. Decide, you know, this is what I want to get out of it for my business, and this is what my customers want to get out of it, and then make sure you build that into it. And then activity, write down your retreat vision and your goals. Choose your location and your theme. To me, this is the most fun part because and even when I had this year, I did all of it myself because I was shorthanded. All the years before, I've had like 3 people working in the background getting all of this done. But no matter what, I would be the one that picked the theme, and I would pick the location. I would get input on the location, and then the outcome. We usually worked as a team to create that. I think one in the mountains would be lovely. And I meant to put some mountain pictures because I think that one in the mountains would be good. I think people would like that. And especially for like our business where you're stuck inside doing all that work, sometimes it's better not to have the ocean inviting you across the street. You know, we've had times where I felt really guilty for keeping people tied up in there for so long. But theme, align the retreat stream with your wellness brand and with your client expectations. We changed hours as an example the year that we had Chris Carr because we needed to get more people in. And so because we had Chris Carr and Gabby Bernstein's followers invited, we expanded it to people who were interested in wellness. And then we had almost everything on, we had a lot of stuff on wellness business. So if they were interested in going into wellness business, they could go to that. Otherwise, they just went to the wellness talks. So we changed it a little bit that time. Let's see, consider factors like accessibility, atmosphere, and amenities. I've always loved Florida and the water, and it seems easy to have people down there. One year we went to Arizona, and that year I sent Ashley in my place, and everybody had a spa. Oh, I can't remember the name of the place. Anyway, it was a spa, very elegant atmosphere. A couple of our customers asked for that, so we did that year. The rest of the time, it's been in Florida. Yeah, it was a THC hosted event. Okay, and then outcome, mindfulness and meditation, digital detox, plant-based nutrition, outdoor adventure. Those are some different things, and you'd want to go by what your business is. Like Amy, if you do yours, sailing and relaxing and meditating near the water, or anything like that. Uh, if you're talking about respiratory, then, that's the topic. Yeah, Amy says definitely water themed. Um, Make sure you have a balanced agenda, ensure a mix of activities and downtime for rest and integration. I have a problem with that, and it seems like with our people, not with your people, maybe. Your people may need the downtime, and that's one of the things that I really appreciated when I was at Santa Vive, was the downtime and not having to be any place and do anything, especially right after. This was like a week after our event, and I just kind of collapse and sleep because I'm so tired out from the events. So this was a really good experience for me, and having the downtime was good for me. But I noticed this time when we had our event that people even resented a little bit the time that we took to go to the restaurant to eat, because we're there and we're trying to get in as much work as we can. And when we go and we have 2 hours downtime for lunch, that distracts. So it depends on what your purpose is, on how much downtime that you have. In the past, if we have, if we go from 8 o'clock in the morning, and I can't go past 5 o'clock very well. But if we go later than that, people need the downtime. They need a little bit of downtime just to recuperate. And they may not know it, but they do. Key components, sessions, workshops, meals, and relaxation. Meals is a big deal when you're doing a wellness retreat. You want to make sure that you have the meals centered around what you're teaching, so that you're not having Burger Kings brought in when you're trying to teach people to eat healthy. We have a really hard time with our group because, well, it's really funny because everything has changed so much. The first time we had mostly plant-based. We had a few people who were pescatarian, and then a few people that ate more like a Mediterranean diet. This last time we had a lot of meat eaters. I mean, a lot of keto people and a lot of carnivore type eating, where that's what. And so it's funny, but you've got to make sure that you've got the right food for the right people. Sample itinerary. And this last time, our itinerary changed so much because it kept changing. We had probably, because of 2020 and COVID, we probably had 30 or 40 platinum people who could have attended this year, but it's hard to get people to get out after 2020. And with the resurgence and with all of the anxiety, especially leading up to this, I wish we would have done this one after the oh my gosh, the election. I wish we would have had this one after the election. But we had less people. And so I had to change it back. And the way that we did it, I would not undo it, because it would have been silly for us to be in a giant hotel with a giant room with giant presentations for a few people. But it was a really good experience. And I think that everybody that put a little bit into it got a lot out of it. We have people that left there that are renewed spirit in doing their business. So I feel pretty good about what we did this year. So sometimes you have to be ready to shift too. I think we probably had 4 different itineraries, and we ended up going by what everybody needed and wanted more than timed events. Budget and financial planning. Okay, that's one thing that I do want to talk about that's been an issue since the beginning. First of all, make sure you've got a contract, because if you have a contract, then you can expect this is going to be your cost. Make sure that you read your contract. And I would suggest that even if you read your contract, have somebody else read it. And then I would have an attorney read it. We were really lucky because we had Lisa at all of them except for this last one. And so Lisa, I mean, it was nice having an attorney there. When somebody got hurt at the event, it was Lisa. She broke her arm at the 20, I think it was the 2015 event. She broke her arm. We had done the flying trapeze together the first year, and she did really good. She was hanging from her knees, and I thought I was going to die just holding on with my hands. But she was able to. She actually wrote the liability waivers and all of that. And when she broke her arm, I knew I wasn't in trouble because she wrote it. But you want to make sure that all of that stuff is covered, and you want to make sure that your contract's read, because almost every time I have had an event, the place where we've had the event has tried to charge me more than what we had agreed upon. So having it in writing is really, really good. Costs overview, the venue, the food, the materials, the marketing, and a lot more. One of our most expensive events was, besides the one with the speakers, was at Hutchinson Shore Spa and Resort. And that one was terribly expensive for the location, for the food. And, we worked on the food forever. I know Sandy was working on that, and we had all of our limitations, and we worked on that for like 9 months. Went back and forth, back and forth. We ended up that the food was blah. I think if we've got anybody on this call that went to that one, the food was really blah. And I ended up taking everybody out to dinner a couple of times just because we got tired of eating zucchini for the people who were vegan and chicken for the ones that weren't. So make sure you are happy with the food. We had a great deal at Club Med because they had tons of different kinds of food in a cafeteria type setup. So everybody was accommodated, and it was always fresh and delicious. So that was good. Then this last time it was nice because we got groceries, and if I was to do anything over, we would not have gone out to eat. We would have just had groceries the whole time. And I think we were lucky because Anne's culinary artist was with her. I made breakfast the first morning, and Anne's Gina made breakfast for us a couple of other days, and lunch. She put lunch together. That was great. I think I would hire a culinary artist and make sure that they could take care of all of that for us and do the dishes and everything. Those are some of the things I've learned on mine. Pricing strategy, ensure fair pricing that reflects values. We go back and forth over that every time because we want someplace nice. Everybody wants someplace nice, but it costs a lot. Like Hutchinson Shores, where you're paying $400 a night, even when you've made an agreement with 60 people. It just, it's expensive. Financial tip, create a spreadsheet to track all expenses and expected revenue. We have always asked, when Amanda's sister Christina sent me my first spreadsheet, it was so big, I printed it out, taped it all together, put it on the floor, and read it from there. And, on our events, we probably have 4 pages of spreadsheets. One has, the people that are coming. The other one has the arrival times and what their food necessities and what they want to learn. Another one has what we purchased. Another one has the itinerary. And so spreadsheets are wonderful for your event. How are we doing on time? Okay. Create a memorable client experience, personal touches. That's one of my favorite things too. And I always get my fingers into that. A couple of years ago, I had a lot of help from a couple of people that worked for me that worked with different places to get things donated. a lot of times I end up just buying a lot of things that I think are fun to give away. So we've got welcome kits, personal thank yous, and then a parting gift. Sensory environment, consider lighting, scents, and music to enhance the ambiance. That's going to be more important for you. We had flowers at all of our events, and I decided that with the last one being in that big house with all the toys there, that our flowers would get lost. And I was afraid that everybody being so close and living in the same place, people would be allergic. So we did not do flowers this time. And then the client journey, map out touch points from arrival to departure so that you see the client experience and make sure it's a good one. One thing we learned, like with Club Med, was that there was a lot of goofy drivers that was before really Uber got popular. And so they would get rides from people, shuttles from the airport. And I heard stories that were just horrendous. So I would make sure that there's Uber or that they know to rent a car. I would not recommend any drivers. Market your retreat effectively. I have gone from, spending maybe $50,000 in advertising on one to spending maybe $1,000 on advertising this year. So define your audience, tailor your marketing to those, use the right marketing channels. The one thing that I learned, and I talked to a lot of people about this in 2015, a lot of marketing experts. The best way to have an event and to ensure that there will be attendees and that the costs are covered is to use your high dollar products and offer it with that, because we consider it as advertising with the high dollar products. So our platinum people get to attend the event for free. And so that helps a ton with getting people in there. This is a really hard thing to market, and you want to show it to your best customers is the best way. It's hard to get people in. We had deals with Chris Carr and Gabby where they allowed us to advertise through their Facebook and through their Instagram to their customers. And so that was more of a warm audience, but it's hard to sell a ticket to a high dollar event to people who don't know you. Okay, next one. We're almost done. Okay, day of coordination and logistics preparation is key. Plan for check-in, activity setup, and meal coordination. Staffing needs, who will help you. I've always had a great team, and so we've had everything covered really well. We had one year that I had one person who we tried to share our wellness facts with, but he had an addiction to those drinks, the ones that keep you going all day and all night, and he had stomach ulcers, so he was out getting that fixed. And then I think we had a little stress from that, but most of the time our team has been wonderful. So make sure you've got people who can help you. If you've got speakers, give them some jobs to do if you need help on things. I had one year where I fired the person who was running. I had gotten her from Joe, who's the guy that he does an event in November too. It's the Genius event. I got her from him. I actually got our photographer that year from him too, but she was awful, and I fired her right after we got there. So we ended up running it ourselves, and I think that was the year we had Gabby Bernstein and Chris Carr, but I had a nice big team there, and we were able to do it. But you need to make sure that you've got somebody running it who is good, because you cannot run it yourself and be on the top of your game to help people, because that's what you're there for. You're there to help people, and that's all. That's all it should be. Contingency plans have backup options for weather or activity changes. This year was a big concern because we had tornadoes and hurricanes the week before the event. And then we had hurricanes coming possibly the week after the event. And I needed to make sure that everybody would be safe. And so that is always a concern. Hopefully people don't have that kind of concern all the time. And then clarity, the more detailed itinerary and explanation of the event, the better. And I added that to it because it keeps people from being concerned about what might be going on. It keeps them from missing things, because you can easily miss things if you don't know what's going on from minute to minute. Post-retreat follow-up, feedback collection, use surveys, stay connected, follow up with email support or community resources, and then repeat clients, make sure that they come back to you. I've always had salespeople. This year was a little bit different because I did not have a salesperson at the event, but we were there strictly to work on everybody's business. And so we weren't really concerned about selling. We were concerned about making sure everybody's needs got met. But we always had a salesperson at the event trying to figure out what it was that we could get them that they could get help with. And I'm able to do that if I'm in an event and there's just a few of us, I can do that. If there's, 70, 80 people, you can't do that. Okay, so we've got a retreat checklist. Hey, Amanda, I don't know if I've got that on my desktop. Oh, wait, here it is. Nope, that's the pricing blueprint. Can you get that from Canva and change it into a PDF? Just download it as a PDF and maybe put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I made this retreat checklist and it's a little bit more detailed than what I've gone through when we were talking. So this is the end. I got done in 32 minutes. So we have like 10 minutes for me to answer questions if anybody has questions. You guys can type in the chat. We'll have this recorded. I'm really excited about doing this because I think it's going to fill the needs of all of our inner circle members. We had a select few that were showing up, and I'm glad that you were, and we'll still offer the technology once a month. But having this other information is going to fill the needs of all the other inner circle members who don't get to make those calls. We'll put this up in the library so you guys can look at this again when you're closer to having an event, maybe. But it will be there.
Is that checklist a separate file from the
Yes.
reason to, okay.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll show you what it looks
Oh,
like.
I found it.
Okay. I've got a picture. Well, here, it's on here, the retreat checklist. It's just real simple. There's 3 pages to it.
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay, we're going to wait for her to put that on there since there aren't any questions. We will end now. I hope everybody has a great week.
Attach this file. Oh, I sent it to only hosts and panelists. One sec. Let me send it to everybody.
I'm glad you got in here, Francesca. There it is. Retreat checklist PDF. Grab that and I'm going to shut us down. Thank you, Amanda. Thanks everybody for being here. Can we put the checklist in the library with the video?
Yeah, in which library?
The Inner Circle library, where we always put the Mentoring Mondays and all the other.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Thanks, everybody.